Gold coins in endless number. This regalia was a woman's apartment harem in the Ottoman's palace. So regalia means this kind of place where the woman of the sultan that belonged to his harem were inhabiting in his palace. So Muba, after having convinced Sharu of his marriage plea, he, Muba, the king, took her daughter Vis to his sumptuous palace at Marv, the city of Marv. There were heroes, knights, and all of his luxurious court. Before that, her promised husband, brother, slightly saw her face throughout her veil. This view amazed him, and he fell from his horse that he was riding. Muba many times was associated with the Greek god Saturn. Why? Maybe because there was a threat to his kingdom and he could be exalted by his brother. His Muba horoscope was pretty bad. The nurse advised this to not reject Muba's request, for it would have heinous impacts, from changing the price of sugar to having cosmic effects upon the world. This saw her nurse's words as possessing reason, as reasonable. The author makes a lot of poetic descriptions of her beauty as follows: the beauties of China and the moon-like maidens of Barbary were before her like stars around the moon. Her face, shining on the golden throne, was like Byzantine embellishment or a Chinese figurine, like a moon in a spring garden. Thousands of stars clustering about the moon, and there was also poetic allusions that evokes phenotypic features, ones like how came for the pale of face, and it means both a physical and emotional reference to white. Goes to the color and mood. So the metaphor came for pale of face meant the physical substance and also the color and the mood, the camphor, the whitish color, saying thus that something is translucent, is whitish in its color. There were interesting sayings like, you have this become black of heart from so much suffering, one cannot wash an Ethiopian of his blackness. And that alluding to these actions that had made her heart black. This was mourning his fate. This Viru, was mourning his fate to the nurse. He was saying that he asked to God for help in dealing with her absence from him. There was a reference to Christianity, where when the nurse said that she, Vis, wouldn't give her love to him. Only when the branch of the Judas tree bears dates will Vis bow to your love. So there was a reference to the tree where Judas hanged himself after having betrayed Christ, having sold him for the, if I'm not mistaken, the silver coins. Ramin was another man that loved Vis, despite Viru, her brother, that also loved her, this princess. And he, Ramin, having called the aid of Vis' nurse, received that help, but Vis rejected his love and said, "You of ill will and many curses, may neither you nor Vis nor Ramin remain alive." Good thing to know that Diana is a heavenly counterpart of every mortal. It's spelled Daena. If you act justly, then your Diana in heaven will look like a beautiful maiden. So it would be like a shadow that every mortal had, that when one died, would look like a maiden, a beautiful maiden, if one had acted justly in earth. If the dead is a man, but an ugly hag if you had behaved immorally during his life. That in Zoroastrian faith, that had this belief that every mortal had a kind of counterpart, a kind of shadow that would be akin to the mortal's behavior during his lifetime in heaven. It was a belief in the Zoroastrian faith. A reference regarding this teaching is the book The Teachings of the Magi by Zahiner. Both Ramin and the nurse had their birthplace at Khorasan,